In this video, we're going to uh, look at adding footnotes and endnotes, as well as references to our document. So um, you should have already opened the Project 12 starting document. If not, go ahead and open that now. And I've already signed into my OneDrive account, so go ahead and pause the video if you have not yet signed into your OneDrive account and sign in. Once you're done signing in, go to File and Save As. Choose your OneDrive and then save to Word Projects. And you'll want to name this Project 12 followed by your name. And then click Save. Now, as you can see, this is another Wikipedia article. Um, Wikipedia articles have footnotes, or actually, they have endnotes already, and so this makes this a good candidate for demonstrating this feature. When you insert a footnote or an endnote in the text of a document, a reference number, letter, or symbol appears at the insertion location. Your associated note, indicated by the same reference mark, appears in the location that you specify. Footnotes can appear at the bottom of the page relative to the margin or immediately after the page content. The default location is at the bottom of the page, which provides a consistent experience for readers. Endnotes can appear at the end of the document or at the end of the section if the document contains multiple sections. The default location is at the end of the document. In most views, footnotes and endnotes are divided from the main text by a note separator line. A document can contain both footnotes and endnotes. The decision to position a note as a footnote or as an endnote might be governed by your organization's editorial standards or might simply be a matter of preference. In general, if the associated note contains information that you'd like the reader to be able to immediately reference, such as supporting information, use a footnote. If the note contains information that would be more appropriate gathered with other notes in a central location, such as a source reference, use an endnote. Now, when inserting notes specifically for the purpose of referencing content sources, you should use citations instead of endnotes or footnotes. You can then generate a bibliography from the citations. And we are going to look at that in this video as well. All right, so to look at how this works, let's begin by copying a note from the end of our Wikipedia article. So scroll all the way down until you get to the notes section and highlight that first note. And then click on the copy button. Okay, now scroll back up. Just below the table of contents, we have the early years heading. And we've got a picture here. And then you'll notice after this first sentence, under early life, we have um, a number one, which is a reference number one, and then a note one notation. You can go ahead and remove those notations if you want, although you don't actually need to. And then click on the References tab on the ribbon and click Insert Footnote. Now you notice this takes us down to the footer of the document. Go back to the Home tab and click the down arrow on Paste and then choose the Keep Text Only option. And that's going to paste in the text that we copied. And it may also paste in um, that number that was before that. So in that case, go ahead and backspace a few times until you're left with just the tiny number 1, which is what was inserted by word for the footnote. Now if we scroll back up, you can see we have the number 1, and if I hover over it, you can see that little tooltip. And then when I scroll back down, you'll also see there's the footnote. Okay, now notice that note number 2 is down here in the second paragraph of the early life topic. Let's scroll back down to the bottom of our document and copy note number 2. And then we can scroll back up to early years and find note number 2 again. And we can highlight and remove those notations. And now go to references again. And this time, let's insert an endnote. This takes us to the end of the document. And now we can press Ctrl V to paste our endnote. Now again, if the 2 was inserted here, then you would go ahead and backspace to remove that. In my case, that did not happen, so that's good. So you'll notice the endnote appears with a line above it at the end of the document. This is literally the last page of the document. If I scroll back to early years, you'll see here's the little notation for that endnote. Now if I click Show Notes, this gives me a chance to view either the footnotes or the endnotes. Because the document contains both footnotes and endnotes, it gives you this option. And I'm going to say View Endnotes area, and it will take me back down to the endnotes. Now, within the footnotes group, we also have a button that says Next Footnote, and if we click the arrow next to it, we'll see that there's Next Footnote, Next Endnote, and Previous Endnote. And if you want to try clicking some of those, it will take you through your document to navigate to just the footnote and endnote that you've already added. There we go. Okay, next let's look at citations. Citations are also on the References tab, and citations allow you to uh, keep track of your sources for your document. Very important for school papers, but it may also be important in the workplace for certain types of documents. And if you happen to be writing for Wikipedia, it's important for that as well. So let's scroll down to the References section, highlight the first reference, and copy that. Now, you can Control C to copy, or you can go to Home and click Copy, either one. And then go back to the References tab and scroll back up to the early years. Now recall that when we inserted the footnote number 1, there was also a reference there. So reference number 1 belongs there. Within the back to the References tab, within the Citations and Bibliography group, click the drop down for Styles, which currently says APA. And notice you have a number of options here. I'm going to choose MLA. APA and MLA are both very common in college courses. Depending on the type of course, sometimes MLA is more popular, and others APA is more popular. And all of these others are used in other situations as well. Um, but MLA and APA seem to be the most popular for college courses. Okay, so click Insert Citation and click Add New Source. Click the Type of Source dropdown and choose Article in a Periodical. Now just click in the title box and press Ctrl V to paste what we copied into that box. We're just going to use this as a starting point. Get rid of the 1 um, if that did come in. Also get rid of the quotes around the title and get rid of any punctuation at the end. A period is what I'm seeing right now. Now select the Sherbrooke telegram and then press Ctrl X to cut that. Click in periodical title and press Ctrl V to paste. Now click in the year box and type 1950. Click in month and type February. Click in day and type 23. And now we can get rid of everything after the title of the article. And once we've done that, click OK. Now notice this inserts the citation here. Remember that in Word, fields get a shaded background when you hover over them. So as I hover over this, I notice this is actually a field. That means that the information there is automatically kept up to date by Word. Now, back in the References tab in the Citations and Bibliography group, if I click Manage Sources, I can see what sources I have. There's currently only one. I could search this if I had a very long list. I can get a preview of the citation in MLA format as well as the bibliography entry. I can see that not only is this in my master list, but I'm actually using it in my current document. That's why it's in the current list. And I could, by clicking on this, I can click Edit, and I can make changes to it here. All right, now if I click Close, so I now have the citation, but I don't have the bibliography listed anywhere. So I've cited this article, but if somebody were looking for the article, they're missing certain information. So let's scroll down to the bottom of the document and go ahead and click above the endnote, but below the references list here. And then go to the Insert tab and click Page Break. This will bring us to a new page. Now go back to References and click the Bibliography button. Clicking the Bibliography button gives us 3 choices for bibliographies. One is called Bibliography, one's References, and one's Works Cited. And I'm going to use the Works Cited option, so click on that. Now if I scroll back up, you'll notice a field has been inserted, which contains the works cited for the document. Now again, this is going to be kept up to date because it is a field. So as I add and remove sources in my document, they will be updated in here. Okay, so that is citations, footnotes, and endnotes. Let's go to File and Save to save the document, and then go back to File and Share, and put in my email address to send this to me. And be sure to share. All right, and if this is the last project that you're doing today, go to Account and Sign Out, and always click Yes, and you can close Word.